Hello, everyone, and welcome to my live. I am Coach Sherry, and this is going to be my 51st day of going live every day in the 90-day live challenge. And I am so excited. And again, you can find the replay of this session in my lives playlist as well. I have a 90-day live playlist as well as on my podcast tab. I do have a playlist for all of the videos that I have slated as a podcast. And I feel that this is a similar format as a podcast. I am going to be sharing information. I hope you have a pen and paper ready. I was looking, well, not really looking, but periodically I always get messages or comments on my a video that I had done over a year ago. I actually did the video January of 2023, and I was always just so surprised that so many people resonated with it. They continuously left messages for me, comments, and had additional questions. And it was part of a series. I didn't complete that series, but it was What is a Sigma Female? And I never really revisited that video. I typically don't listen to my videos after I've recorded them or posted them up. I just kind of share the information and leave it there for my legacies. And I was just so surprised over time how many comments and how people were really connecting with that topic of what is a Sigma female. And one day I was using an AI tool, and it was either Chat GPT or Perplexity. I can't remember which, but I was doing some more research on the Sigma female, and one of the suggestions, how they give you a suggestion of, they give you some information and some additional videos or, other resources. And my video from January 2023 came up about what is a Sigma female. And I was like, wait, what? My video came up as part of that whole content of, additional resources. That was so amazing to me. I never thought that I would see that ever. And not that it's impossible, because I do feel that my information that I share is evergreen, is accurate. So I guess I shouldn't have been that surprised. But with AI being relatively new, or at least to me in terms of usage, I was surprised to see my content on there. But what is a Sigma female? Definitely, caused a lot of ruckus. Not in a bad way. I think it was just, exposing people to that, because so many people are used to hearing about the alpha male, the alpha female, even beta and delta, but they rarely hear about the Sigma female in particular. And then today, let me just try and pull it up so I can read it to you. Today, I just so happen to be on Facebook, and I'm typically not on Facebook. And maybe that's why Facebook was like, we're going to throw something at you that we know you're going to love and perhaps want to come back more often. And you know how they have these ads and they're trying to sell you this, that, or the other? Where there was an ad for this t shirt, and it was a customized t shirt with your name on it. And it had my name on it. And so it drew my attention immediately because I saw my name and I was like, huh, look at that t-shirt. It has my name on it. And the person wearing it was a man, and he had his back, to so that you can read the back. And I was like, let me read and see what they're saying about the name Sherry. And I found it very interesting. And I actually posted it on my community tab. So if you want to see what I'm getting ready to share with you, it's definitely right there on my community wall. And I see Eastad just walked into the building. Hello, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going good for you. And are you on break or anything? Are you at work right now? So I'm going to share with you what it said. And it said, Sherry. completely unexplainable, notices everything but won't say it, the most loyal friend and dedicated lover, has zero tolerance for stupidity, professional at lies detecting, can offend you with their honesty, tends to hold feelings inside, their mind will always be 10 steps ahead of yours, the sweetest until provoked, lives by their very own way, a warrior's mentality with a poet's soul, not a fighter, but will knock your lights out. And I was like, huh. And I sent it to a few people that are close to me, close acquaintances. And I was like, does this sound like me? And they were like, what? 100%. Who made that for you? And I said, they didn't make it for me. It's something that, YouTube had, I mean, not YouTube, but Facebook had put up and, as a suggestion. It was, one of those things you can purchase, like a t shirt or whatever. And they were like, listen, you need to print that, get that on everything, because that is you 100%. And so, again, when I did the video on what is a Sigma female, it really resonated with me and how I feel that I am, that I, you know, show up. And then for this shirt to, or this sample shirt to show up, I was like, wow, maybe I need to revisit the Sigma female and look at her from all angles. And so this video, we're going to look at the Sigma female as a leader. So Sigma female leaders. And Eastat, I'm glad that my notification popped up. That's exciting to know. And thank you for being here during your break, your lunch, your dinner, whatever you're at, to be able to listen to this live, to stop through. I appreciate your support always, for sure. I've had to stop by your house to see how things are going. Hey, Slasher Chick, good to see you. You had a great live as usual. I'm going to have to watch the replay from the beginning because I didn't realize you came on very early. I think I caught you your last towards the end. So I need to go back and check out the beginning. But thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, so the Sigma female leaders. Now, again, I first started this in January 2023, and there are 6 female personalities. There's Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Omega, Delta, and Sigma. And again, I started with Sigma because it just kept popping up. Even back then in January 2023, there's actually a lot of content on there about them. And Slasher Chick, I had just shared this, but literally, I started doing more research on the Sigma female because a video that I did in January of 2023, I still to this day get a ton of comments on there. That video actually has over 6,000 views. And I went to, I think it was either Chat GPT or Perplexity, to do some more research. And my video from January 2023 popped up as one of the resources about Sigma females. And it just blew me away. It really did. And so I said, let me revisit this Sigma female and trying to look at her from all different angles. So many people are quick to say that they are that Sigma female, but maybe they're not. They may have some aspects of her, which is true for all personality types. Oftentimes, especially um, if you are self-aware, you can take on different aspects of different types of personalities because you know how to mirror other people to be more effective, especially in communication, which is what we talked about yesterday. But also, you just know what works for you and what doesn't. Just because your personality may be one way, you may try and make it better so that maybe you're not as much that particular personality because it's just not serving you personally or professionally. So a lot of people do that for sure. I see Rudy's in the building. Thank you for the time check. Yes, I am going to dive more into this topic. Yeah, listen, Slasher Chick, when I saw it, I was like, wait, that looks like my thumbnail. And then I looked, and it was the YouTube video, and it was my YouTube video that they put up there as one of the additional resources. So yeah, that was really cool, I thought. All right. So now Sigma females are deeper thinkers. They're very deep thinkers and they're confident. People are very drawn to the Sigma females. Sigma females, they can work the crowd, but they really prefer, or they really do well independently. And the Sigma classification is a way to identify women who are highly independent, non-conforming, and existing outside of the social norms. They don't stay in the box. They know how to maneuver outside of the dotted line. And, they stay in the lines just enough to be compliant, but they definitely will push the envelope. They're not afraid to do that. And so, again, in my initial live slash podcast that I did in January of 2023 about the Sigma female, I noticed that many women that were tuned in, either in the live itself or through the comments, they are business owners and leaders. And so I wanted to focus this session on the Sigma females and their leadership style. And it is said that Sigma females have a softer, more team oriented style focused on getting the job done without arrogance or a need for constant validation. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes, especially with so many different generations in the workforce, different generations, they need different types of validation to make them feel wanted, needed, part of the team. And, a lot of times what you need is what you give. And so even though Sigma females don't need that constant validation, sometimes they may work in an environment where people give it to them all the time. And it could be very uncomfortable when they receive it because they don't need it. They already know with inside of themselves, what they're capable of, what their strengths are. Knowing your strengths and your opportunities and understanding your purpose in life is not arrogance. And sometimes people get that confused. And because you are self assured, they look at it as, oh, that person's arrogant, or they think they're all that. No, they know who they are and what they are all about, as well as whose they are. And so, just trying not to get that confused when you see someone walking in their purpose. Don't confuse it for arrogance. And so, again, a Sigma female, a leader, they don't need that constant validation. I mean, once they complete a task or an event or a project or something like that, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Oh, that was a great job. Oh, we completed that. Oh, that was wonderful. It turned out great." But to continuously try and feed their their spirit with how great they are, that's not necessary at all. Let's see. And so those comments might also give you great content. Yeah, I need to go revisit those comments. You're right, Slasher Chick, and see what some of their questions were, some of their concerns, thoughts, some of the alignment that they felt with the Sigma female, and expand on that. Definitely that is a great idea. Thank you for that. So Sigma is the 18th letter of the Greek alphabet, and there are teen slangs for Sigma. I didn't even know this. That teens may say the word Sigma, but that it stands for cool dude. And it's also referred to as a classification for men who are successful and popular, but also silent and rebellious. And even though in my research it said that that classification of a Sigma is for men, and if you know the Divine Nine, which are the Black Greek organizations, and we have Phi Beta Sigma, and they are referred to as Sigmas. A lot of times when people hear the word Sigma, they don't align it with the female, they align it with Phi Beta Sigma. So in this part, when they said the classification for it are for men who are successful and popular, but also silent and rebellious. In my research in regards to Sigma female leaders, it shows that that's how Sigma female leaders are as well. So let's get into it. And again, I hope you have your pen and paper ready so you could take down these notes. And I'm trying to tell you, I wish I would have taken more than just the snapshot of the back of that t-shirt so that I could show you who made it, because I just can't even imagine how they got my name and who I am so on point. And again, if you're interested in seeing what that t-shirt says about the name Sherry, I do have it posted on my community wall. All right. So Um, I want to just get into this information. Just to let you know, a Sigma female, they're introverted. And I know Slasher Chick, you mentioned that you are introverted, but in the work you do, you are extroverted, which does make you more of an amnivert. And since COVID, I'm finding that more and more people are more ambivert than they are intro or extroverted. And sometimes before COVID, some people may have thought they were more extroverted because they had to be, for their work. And then, when they come home, they don't really have that work life balance. So they just feel like they're always doing something with people, networking, out at events, family gatherings, this, that, and the other, and they just always found themselves like that. But then when COVID hit and we had to basically hunker down and be to ourselves or with our closest knitted circle, we realized, you know what, I'm okay. I'm pretty cool too to be by myself. I'm enjoying this moment. I'm enjoying this independence, and I don't need a lot of people or things around me. And so, with that being said, I'm hearing more and more people are like, I'm really an ambivert. I'm okay by myself, but I am okay still in a large crowd, and that's cool. So again, with the Sigma female, they are more introverted, independent, and they prioritize introspection and personal growth over external validation. So that's why I'm saying, all the accolades and the, oh, great job, you did it. Oh, I can't believe it. You're amazing, whatever. They you don't that doesn't do it for them, because inside they are internalizing what it is that they just accomplished. And sometimes in their head they might be saying, well, damn, I can't believe I was able to do that. What? But they don't need others to say that, because they're really kind of, rocking it out themselves, but they're on to the next. They're not standing there posing after taking that shot that went swish. They're running back on defense because they know they still in the game. So they're not paused long enough really to, need all of that, because they're still moving. They're on to the next play. And that's what it's all about. And they prefer to operate outside of the organization structure. They're not as structural. The hierarchy doesn't mean a thing. Titles don't make them warm and fuzzy, doesn't, do anything for them. Um, and as well as the social dynamics. And I'm not saying it doesn't do anything for them where titles mean nothing, they don't have respect for it. It's just that they understand that everyone has a role, and that they can just as easily be at that highest level, but they can work well with the lowest level. So, it's about just being a human being and being part of the team with all hands on deck at the end of the day. So, that's really, one of the things that they talked about. Let's see. So in terms of leadership style, the Sigma female, again, because they're introverted, but they're also charismatic leaders, and they speak up confidently, and they are soft and calm in nature, but they lead by example rather than being arrogant. And again, leading by example, a lot of people don't understand what that always means. And I just remember in college, a lot of times professors are lifetime academics. They really hadn't worked in the real world, but they've done all the research, they've been in the lab, they've, done all the paperwork, all of the theory behind the information that they share with you, but they don't really have that practical hands-on experience. And I know for me, I always especially respected those professors that did have that practical hands-on experience, because they're giving you those real life examples. They're leading by example. They're telling you, all right, this is what I did, and when we were doing it, this is what we learned not to do, or these are the best practices, and this is what I'm going to teach you, so that you don't even have to worry about going through the bushes and the weeds like I had to, but also guiding you and letting you trip and fall in some areas so that you can learn those life lessons, but still giving you those same experiences. I always say that, you learn, experience is the best teacher. And I know there's who sings that song? Experience, maybe. I can't remember who sings that. I'm not even going to try to sing it, but definitely leading by example. Being with them no matter what your level is, saying like, "Oh, we are a person short. Well, let me roll my sleeves up so I can get in here with you." And it's amazing how some people don't realize that many leaders started out where they are, and that they just climbed the ladder and now they are there, but that doesn't mean because they're there that they can't do what you're doing still. All right. And then they also prefer to accomplish tasks outside of the organization's structure. So, they don't like to seek attention. They don't like a lot of attention. So, a lot of times people just want to do what they do within the four walls. They won't do anything until the spotlight is on them. Oh, okay, Stephanie Mills sings a song. Yeah. I'm hearing her voice for sure, or a voice similar to hers. I can't think of the because there's another artist that is coming to mind too. Oh, and her name is at the tip of my tongue. I just can't think of it right now. But also again, accomplishing things outside of those walls of the organizational structure. Some people is almost like lights, camera, action when the powers that be, let's say, enter the building, then they put on their best show. It's like I look at it in terms of sports and say a high school player, and they're trying to get a scholarship and they're playing mediocre until someone says, "Oh, this scout from this school is here." And then they turn it up and it's like lights are on, and they're just shooting the ball out of the gym, just doing their thing. And my thing is, why couldn't you play like that all along? And that's how I feel even about the NBA, where you have all these games. What is it, like 180 to 100 games in a season? And then they don't really start playing. At least I don't really start watching it until it's the playoff time, because now they know, like, the world is watching. It's not about who's your favorite team, it's just the love of the game. But my thing is, play like that all the time. That's why the WNBA for me is killing it. Those women go out there and they play day in and day out. They are Sigma leaders out there. They are doing it whether, they have a full house or not, whether it's packed or not, sold out or not, they are playing. And that's how you should be in your everyday, regardless of who's in the building, who's in the room. You should still always show up and do your best, because it may be that one person that's in the room that seems insignificant, and everyone has significance, and that's why you need to know that. Don't ever think someone is insignificant, because you don't know who they know, and they may just be breaking bread with that one person that can really change your life, be that game changer for you, that they're saying, "Yeah, you think that way of that person." Well, let me tell you, I was just in a space with them, and they had a sorry attitude. They seemed lazy. They weren't taking initiative. They didn't seem innovative to me. They had to be told everything of what to do. So always be mindful of that and do your best regardless. That's why, yeah, I have, it looks like two in the chat right now, or two watching, and I appreciate you for sure. But I know that in the future it could be 6 to 10, 15,000 people watching, just like that Sigma, that Sigma video that I did before, where I probably, if I had anyone in that live, but now it has over 6,000 views. So you just don't know for sure. I see, Rudy, you still giving us the time check? Thank you. And remember, we're Eastern Standard Time. Well, at least I am. And I know there's people all over the world that are at different time zones. And again, thank you all for being here for sure. Okay, so also Sigma female leaders, they are comfortable in leadership roles, but stay low key about their accomplishments. Now, that's one thing that, in terms of being a woman, period, I find that a lot of women don't really want to talk too much about their accomplishments. They don't walk in the door for sure saying, talking about their accomplishments. But then there are those men who talk about their accomplishments, and those accomplishments may not even be that significant, or they are flubbing some of them, and they still going to talk about it though. And as women, just period, I don't think that we should feel any kind of way talking about our accomplishments, because they are what makes us, and those are the stories that we have to tell. because there's someone that needs to hear it. Our accomplishments are our testimony. So that's one thing I have to kind of disagree with, agree to disagree, and agree, and disagree in some points. I'm not saying again that you have to start off at the table just talking about all of your accomplishments, you know, because it's not the time or the place for that. But when people are challenging your knowledge, they're challenging whether or not you are a subject matter expert. They're wondering how'd you get there, or well, who are you? I never heard of you before. Well, listen, I hadn't been in this arena before, but I've been in other arenas. I've been on other courts. I've been on other fields. So don't always think that a person has just arrived where you found them. They have always arrived, and they're bringing all of that with them. And that's part of their testimony and what makes them them. And, I see Slasher Chick is saying that I'm always reminding women that bragging is simply stating facts. Oh my goodness. You are so right. And that's how I feel. You know, I'm sorry if, well, sorry, not sorry. I'm not apologizing for this. If my experiences are not yours, but guess what? Your experiences are not mine. And that's what makes a beautiful collaboration. So it's not about, feeling someone else's experiences should never have you feeling less than, because trust and believe you have experiences that they don't have. That's like a doctor. I'm not intimidated by any doctors. If I feel I need to say something the way I need to say it, I will. I definitely am an advocate for myself and my loved ones when it comes to going to doctors. But I look at doctors, some people will get intimidated, like, oh, that's the doctor. You can't say that. You can't tell him what you need and, how much of the prescription you're going to take. You can't tell him that. That's the doctor. But guess what? The doctor doesn't truly know your body and how it's functioning. They sometimes will try and treat everyone like a cookie cutter. And I'm like, I'm customized. So I don't care what you did for the patient before or after me. I need you to do it for me, what I need. And I look at doctors as just being people that have done science better than me. They have more knowledge and education around science than I have. I'm not the best at science, no. But then there's things that I know I can do that a lot of doctors can't do. There's a lot of people, and that's that whole give and take, and that's what makes the world go around. If we all could do the same things in the same way at the same level, then how would the world really be a better place? And I see Slasher Chick is saying, right, when it's time to share them in the right time and right place, no need to hold back on facts. Right. And so when I do interview prep for people, and a lot of people will say, oh, I just don't, I've been told I don't say enough, or I just don't feel comfortable telling them that, or I just try to get the answer out and, just leave it there and everything. And I'm like, what? That's when you walk in, that they're expecting you to tell them all about yourself. That's when you walk in and turn the light on and say, I'm in the building, because it's exciting. They invited you in to learn more about who you are and how you can contribute to the team. And they want to hear your stories of when you've done it before. That's the exciting piece, because they know if you did it before, you can do it again. And if it's a good fit, you can do it for them. And that's when you do it. And it's really a coaching piece, trying to get people to understand that. And it works. And when they are able to do it, they can see and feel so much different when they are able to effectively, confidently, without hesitation, talk about their previous experiences, their testimony, basically. Yes, you appreciate the doctor's expertise, but that's only one data point. It is. Listen, oh my goodness, during COVID, I almost had this huge procedure, and I remember my husband was like, "Oh, I think you should wait until the vaccine comes out," because at that time it wasn't out. No one medical whatever had gotten it, and he was like, "I just don't feel comfortable with you going into the hospital, staying for any length of time, boom, boom, boom." And so at first I was really angry, like, dag, I really need this procedure. The doctor said it. I see what the challenge is. And so why wouldn't you want me to be comfortable? Like, whatever. So, but I listened, and I just kind of, and in like 3 months, I took 3 months and I just did homeopathic remedies. I went to a chiropractor that does body scans. I did, what do they call it? yoni steams. I did a lot of different things, just got healthier, changed my eating and everything. And in 3 months when I went back, and that's when I was going to, get that checkup to see, okay, well, what do we have to do moving forward? And the doctor was like, hold on. Like everything that was wrong before had either gone away or lessened. And it did not qualify me for the full situation that she wanted to do. And so she was like, yo, what did you do? What happened? And so when I told her all the things I did, and she was just looking at me in awe. And she said, you know what? And she even asked me, like, for the addresses and the contact information of the people. Because she said, you know what? Western medicine don't always have it right. So you use, alternative medicines and systems and what have you, and look what it did. It reverted you. It reversed your whole situation. And I was so glad because I wanted to get the situation handled, but I really didn't want to go under the knife. Even though I've had 3 babies, I haven't had really major surgeries. I had all my children naturally, without any assistance of anything. And, I just was like, I don't want to get all cut up. Like, what is the healing process? Is that going to hurt? And so you just never know. That's why with doctors, you have to advocate for yourself, do your research, understand what your body's telling you, listen to your gut, your intuition, because that's God telling you, no, no, child, don't do that. So definitely be able to speak up for yourself, communicate that. Yes, that's when you walk in the light and say, I'm in the building. Yes, for sure. You was invited to be in the building. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I was definitely, being a virtuous woman at that moment. And I was like, let me adhere to what his wishes are and not be mad and just figure it out. Because being obedient sometimes, I mean, it's not about laying down and bowing down, kissing the ring. That's not what that means at all. It just means that, your partner will have a different perspective. And a lot of times, if you really pay attention to it, they're not trying to hurt you or harm you. They're, really trying to God puts them in place to pause you sometimes, to pivot and maybe go in a different direction. Yeah. All right. So now, um, while both of these, well, while the Sigma leader, female leader, is an effective leader, you also just again remember that the Sigma females, they adopt a softer, more team-oriented style focused on getting the job done without arrogance or a need for the constant validation. And their approach is typically described as being very impactful yet silent. And these are some benefits of being a Sigma female in a leadership role. Because some people might say, well, how is that benefiting me? What does that mean? And so it can mean a lot of things, and it's about being authentic and influential. That could be the leadership style, because Sigma females are described as true leaders who possess charisma, authenticity, and strong communication skills. And that allows them to lead in an impactful yet genuine manner. You know, it's so important to have a leader, or to be that leader that is authentic and genuine. Someone that is not trying to walk you to the edge of the dock and push you off or leave you on the side of the road for no reason. You've been doing all you can do, and they just are not being true to you. They're not communicating effectively, and you have no idea like what is really going on. But they are transparent and authentic in their style, and they tend to lead by example. And we've had just mentioned that, rather than being overtly arrogant or demanding. And that means whatever they're asking of you, they are going to do it too, and or have done it. So they're not asking you to do any more or any less than they are have done. And that's what I tell people, especially people that are interested in having their own business. When you're working for someone, that's like your practice. You're practicing how to be a leader, how to be a owner, how to be responsible. If you can't do that as an employee, then how are you going to do that as an employer? Because if you are like that as an employee, you have to, if you're not doing that as an employee, if you're, slacking, if you're not taking initiative, if you, aren't really playing full out, how would you feel if you were that employer and you had an employee like that? So putting yourself in the other person's shoes, that's why it's important to, move like you want other people to move for you, move that way as well. I remember when I first not well when I first started playing basketball when I was young. I started playing basketball in like the fourth grade, and in the fifth grade we had called them all-star teams. It's kind of like AAU elite team that they have now. But back then, and this was in the 1900s, this was like 1979, 80. And we had all-star team, we had tryouts, and I made the team. And so there was this coach, her name was, I can't even remember her name. And I used to remember it for a long time, but I've met so many people in my life since then. Her name is, I'm not going to say it's insignificant, but I had to make room for other names. So I had to take her name out of my mind. But I remember her. I might not remember her name, but I do remember her. And she would sit in the bleachers and yell at us to do all these suicides. If you don't know, in basketball, they have these running drills, and they're called suicides, where you start at one end of the court and you touch the free throw line, and then you go back to the end zone, then you or to the I forget the other line. Then you have to run to the center court and go back. Then you run to the other end where the field, I mean the field, I'm getting sports mixed up. You go to the other foul line, then you go back, and then you go to the other end and you go back. And it's a lot. So you're bending down because you have to touch it with your hand. So you running. And she would have us do that. I can't even tell you how many times listen, we would almost all pass out, throw up, whatever, because it was so hard. And all she would do was just yell at us, like, yell again, faster, no, start over, blah blah. And I was like, yo, she and she was not in shape at all. I'm not going to describe her, but she was not in shape. So it made us all feel some kind of way. And I always, even then at 9 and 10 years old, I committed to myself. I said, if I'm ever a coach, I will never be this type of coach. And lo and behold, when I became a basketball coach at 21, when I graduated college, I was that coach that would be out there running with my team. And if I couldn't run the full length, I would just encourage them, not by yelling at them to demand it, but encourage them, letting them know you can do it. Come on, keep going. One more. I would do that. And that is leading by example as well. It's letting them know, listen, I'm not having you do anything I wouldn't do or haven't done or can't do, for sure. And the next is, remember I had mentioned that the Sigma female leader is typically an introvert. And so as introverted leaders, they are comfortable with accomplishing tasks outside of the boundaries of the organization without seeking constant attention or validation. And we had talked about that. And this independence can be valuable in leadership roles. And I know for me, one of my biggest saying is I ask for forgiveness and not permission in many cases, because, as a leader, you know what needs to be done. You know how it needs to be done. As long as you're staying compliant and it's legal, then, move forward. Because if you have to get all these permissions within the confines of an organization, you'll never get anything done. And Sigma female leaders, they get things done. So there's always continuous learning and growth that Sigma females always are seeking to learn and to continuously grow. And they prioritize self improvement and developing their skills and knowledge. And this commitment to continuous learning can benefit the entire team or even the organization that they lead, because they don't want to be the best one in the room. So oftentimes they'll share that knowledge, they'll share those resources with their team so that their team could also elevate and improve. And the information that they learn, if it can help a process, if it, if it can make things better, if it could make things more efficient, they definitely will implement it. And that's why I always say, have your pen and paper ready, take down notes, because I'm that type of leader where I want you to learn, I want you to glean some nuggets and not just have it for the here and now, for this moment that we're here together, but to also take it with you, implement it into your life, share it with someone that you know may need to hear it as well. And that's how things, continue to grow and get better. And that's that continuous learning cycle of everything, making everyone around you, not just yourself, but everyone better. And their independence and nonconformity, it allows the Sigma females to think outside the box and initiate positive changes. They have a fresh perspective that can drive innovation. I am all about innovation. I look at creatives as being innovative. Now, there's a career interest assessment that I share with people, and there's a section where it indicates if they're artistic or not. And it always describes artistic as being someone who likes art, music, dance, and things of that nature. But I dispel that. I always say artistic is being innovative. How creative are you in your real life, at work, in your business, in your personal life? How creative are you? And if you're not, and that's a strong characteristic that you have, then you have to figure out how to implement that, how to be more innovative. And with all these technology tools that we have out here, everyone can so be more innovative. I'm trying to tell you, if you don't know about these tools, this technology, AI, then you really need to go and check out Slasher Chick, because she's all about new technology systems that are more virtual based or more platform based, that can help you in all different types of areas in your life. Ways that can make you be better, improve yourself. Like, there's tools that you can use that can help you with time management, with creating lists to keep you on track, to keep you focused. And so I really enjoy her lives. And she's also doing this challenge because she definitely walks you through all those processes. And let's see, she's saying, yes, I would rather be a bench warmer on the best team than a star on the worst. Yes. Oof, you will get beat down. So if I can help the team, I'm putting that first. Yes, exactly. You know, everyone could be a star on the team, even the sixth man off the bench, the eighth man off the bench. Because you know what? Everyone sometimes can't get into the game. But who is the stars playing against in practice? That's my point. So even if a person on a team never gets in, but their team is winning all the games and all the five starters are great, you know, um, you can't look at that bench and shake your head, because they're practicing against that bench. And trust, if that bench is able to get in, they gonna kill it too, because that coach has empowered all of them, if they're a good coach, and to let them know everybody's needed on this team. And that's the kind of things they need to tell the starters too, the stars on the team. Don't think you all that because you out on the court. You remember, he gave you some challenges. He gave you some problems in practice the other night. So don't sleep on that. And if you late, you won't start. I know for me, I don't care how many points you score. I don't care if you were the very best on the team. If you were late to practice or to the game, oh, you sitting out for the first quarter at least. Don't play with me, because that's disrespectful to your team. Because what if we didn't even have enough players and you was that one person that we was waiting on? We're not waiting for you. And that's wrong to do that to your team. Anyway, yes. Okay, yeah. Thank you. All right, and how high standards and loyalty. So the Sigma female leader, they are described as having high standards and a strong sense of self-esteem. And this can inspire those around them to meet higher expectations. Instead of sitting back and looking at that Sigma leader that is walking with her back straight and her head held high because she's confident, because she's walking in her purpose and her passion, instead of looking at that and feeling some kind of way, in a negative way, you need to look at that and say, wow, if she can find it, then I can too. And let me look deeper and see what, is making me move. What's making my wheels turn, and because that can inspire you, definitely, to know. A lot of times, trust, believe it or not, a lot of people don't ever see or get to see firsthand a real life person walking in their purpose and living their passion. They may see some people on TV, but I'm talking about in real life, day to day, right next to them. And if you have the privilege of doing that ever, don't take that for granted. You need to get your pen and paper out and start taking some notes, because that's real talk right there. You're going to see something that is going to be very inspiring and motivating. I was fortunate to grow up with that. I was fortunate to marry that, and I'm fortunate to be that. So definitely don't take that for granted. And again, the Sigma female leaders, they are also portrayed as loyal, trustworthy leaders who show respect and honesty. Fostering this type of environment can increase team morale and cohesion. How you not going to do right and you have a whole leader that's doing right? You're going to stick out like a sore thumb in real life. And so that's why, everyone has a chance to do a restart. Rebranding is a real thing. If you have this brand, if you're known for being that person that's sneaky, that ain't about nothing, that person that wish they could, wish they would, disgruntled, that person that only complains, that person that when you walk into the room, people be like, oh, here they come. you know, if that's who you are, you absolutely can rebrand yourself. It's going to take time. Yes, it's not going to happen overnight. So don't think because today you hear this and you're like, all right, I'm going to change. Tomorrow I'm going to be a new person. No, you're not. You're not. Calm down. First of all, it takes 6 months for a new habit to be a true habit. And so it's going to take work, and it's going to take conscious work. Every day you're going to have to think to yourself, all right, I'm used to doing this, but let me do the opposite, because that what I used to do has not been serving me well. I've been told I was no good, I was, worthless. I cheat, I steal, I lie. I want to flip that around. So whenever you feel like you about to lie, tell the truth. Just tell the truth, whether no matter how the truth sounds or looks. Let me tell you, I taught my children a long time ago when they were real little, like when they first started talking little. Whatever you do, just tell me the truth. I, don't stutter about it. Just say it. Even when they comes down to something that they want or a place they may want to go. You know how like kids will say, "Oh, can hi, oh, how are you? Oh, hey, mom, how? Oh, no, what?" What is it? Tell me. Stop playing around. Don't try to soften me up, butter me up. Because to me, that's like low key not telling the truth. Like what are you about to say? Just say it. Have enough trust in me that is not going to be a bad outcome. The answer is going to be yes or no. And so my kids are are so good at just telling the truth all the time, until sometimes when they do, I just be like, oh, like, am I old enough to hear this? But I appreciate that. They have trust in me. And so that's how you want your team, and that's how you want to be as a team player. Someone that, all right, my leader is loyal, trustworthy, honest, and they have a lot of respect for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell them the truth. I'm gonna do the right thing. Just that's it. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's going to take time, because you're going to have to do the opposite if that's how you've been rolling before. But rebranding yourself, changing your outcomes is definitely possible. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Thank you. I asked for the truth. And let me tell you, Slasher Chick. See, I'm not gonna say too much, because my kids, they be like, Mom, like, why you have to say all that? Maybe one day, Slasher Chick, if you and I connect in real life, if you can remember, like, let me know, like, Sherry, what were you about to say that time? But like, I'll lace my questions in like a regular conversation, you know. I can't even give you an example because it would give away too much. But yeah, so, and my kids will always tell me the truth. They won't even blink, hesitate, or anything. No matter how I lace it into something, they'll be like, yeah, or no, or Yep, da da da. They'll give it to me. Yes, we will have to save that for a Charlotte visit for sure, definitely. And so I really appreciate that because when I see them coming, that's the one thing I tell people, and I've always have. I need to look at you and know that what you're saying is true because I don't have time to decipher through what you're saying to figure out what's true and what's not true. And then how am I going to have your back if what you're saying is not true and I find out later and I'm in a setting where I might have to defend you or not or advocate for you? How can I effectively do that? I can't. And so that's why for me the truth is so important because I really want to support. I want to have your back 100%. But if I don't know if what you're saying is the deal, then I can't buy it. All right. And then, okay, the last part is in terms of a Sigma female leader, their soft yet assertive nature allows Sigma females to be protective of boundaries while still being influential leaders. So they will have those boundaries, but they still have a lot of influence out, even inside and outside of those boundaries. But people respect their boundaries, which is a great thing because they have them set. They know what their own boundaries are, they respect other people's boundaries as well. So basically, wrapping this all up, the potential benefits lie in a Sigma female's ability to be authentic, growth oriented leaders who can inspire through their independence, high standards, and loyalty. All the time, they are avoiding being arrogant or they don't have an excessive need of for attention, and their unique blend of confidence and behind the scenes influence can create a positive leadership dynamic. So I feel like I have a lot of Sigma female characteristics. I mean, a tremendous amount. And I think that's why Sigma female um, messages, you know, content, resources, and such keep attracting me. They just seem to, I feel like I'm a magnet for it. And if Sigma female as a leader, if that sounds like you too, I want you to leave a comment in the comment section of this recorded version of this live podcast and let me know, does the Sigma female resonate with you? And what else would you like to know about the Sigma female? I definitely want to get into the colors. What colors resonate with them. Colors are so important, y'all. Oh my goodness. I know when we were doing our real estate development, it was important to know what type of personality liked certain colors so that when they walked into a model home, and you might notice that going into model homes in your own communities, how sometimes when you walk in, it'll hit you right, and sometimes it won't. And that's because that particular floor plan or layout is not for your personality. And so there are colors even that, Sigma females prefer, as well as all females and males as well. So I see Slasher Chica said, I would like to know some of the pitfalls and blind spots to watch out for if you identify as a Sigma female leader. Okay, that's a great one. So we will definitely cover that. I'm calling Tuesdays. What is my Tuesdays called? Tuesdays are called Transformation Tuesday. I'm trying to get some type of um, schedule or foundational structure to all of my lives since I've doing all these lives here lately. And I find that if you have kind of like a theme of sorts, that it might work out. So this is actually my first week out of 51 days finally trying to get some type of foundation. And so Mondays are going to be Monday motivation. Tuesday is transformation Tuesday. Wednesdays are what's up Wednesday. Thursday is thriving Thursday. Friday is fireside Friday. Saturday is Saturday shout outs, and Sunday is Sunday showcase. So they each have their own little, twist to it, to be more inclusive and also bringing you diverse content that all works for the good when it comes to workforce development, career readiness, and entrepreneurship, as well as real life, real issues, and real talk. So I hope that you all find value in the content that I'm bringing you. And yes, today is Transformation Tuesday, where you might, I hope you were transformed into what you didn't know you were already, which could be a Sigma female leader, giving you something to think about, that those aha moments, that's what it's all about, growing and learning together. So thank you. I appreciate you all. If you are in here and you did enjoy the live and this podcast, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet part of this team, I invite you to hit the subscribe button and the bell for notification. I will be back tomorrow evening. I think I may have one more video pre-record from this weekend's graduation ceremony to share. I think I do. And I'm pretty sure I do. And I hope you've been enjoying those as well. A lot of my pre-records are my car chats. And so those are just small, quick nuggets that I will record oftentimes in my car. I really enjoy filming in my car, believe it or not. But it's been my pleasure sharing this information with you. And remember to practice every single day. Practice. Practice so hard so that when you do get in the game, if you are that sixth man off the bench, when you do get in, you will always play to win. I am Coach Sherry.